Hi. Do you like that? So I'll just explain what this project is in case you haven't figured it out. I started something called bornthiswayblog.com. It'll be actually be 2 years in January. And it's a simple idea. It's basically you write your growing up gay story and you find a photo and you send it to me and I post it on the blog. And the blog exploded. It took off very quickly. And every image that you saw there is from the blog. And now I'm fortunate enough that we've been able to turn the blog into a book. And it just came out about a month ago. And I'm going to hold up a very large promotional item to show you. This is it. It's called Born This Way, Real Stories of Growing Up Gay. And there's 620 something people on the blog. We could only get 100 in the book because it's a small book. But the reason I'm holding this particular piece up, that signature, I'll read it to you. It says, "Hey Paul, all the best and great luck with your fabulous project. Love, Andy Bell." And that's Andy Bell from Erasure. Andy Bell is not just a great signature. Andy Bell is in the book, his story. And there's about 10 or 12 famous gays. We have Barney Frank, we have Sia, the singer, we have Michael Busto. But it's really about everybody. We don't separate everybody. We don't put them in like the celebrity category. They're all in the book, mixed up by their the decade that they tell their story. So I'm going to read you 5 stories from the book. Okay, you ready? I feel a little underdressed, but I wore red for Mars. I wore my no, but it's the Death Star. It's the Death Star because I'm a DJ. It's the Death Star disco ball, and then this is the Milky Way. Okay, first is Kevin. His story. He's 7 years old and he's from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. In my photo, you'll notice that I had all of 4 teeth. For some reason, my adult teeth took forever to grow in, leaving me with the thickest lisp possible. Thus, I sounded like the gayest little boy in the whole school. It also didn't help that I wore the same mock turtleneck every day like it was a full-time job. Things got so bad that my school sent me to speech class for 3 years, which was a class they created just for me. I remember an obsession with swords at this time in my life. Why? So I could pretend to be She-Ra. Not He-Man, She-Ra. But nobody could make out the fact that I was saying, "By the power of Grayskull." To this day, my family still teases me about shouting, quote, "By the honest of Grayskull." In retrospect, it all worked out really well. I grew up from a little lisping gay boy into a big gay man. And that's Kevin. Next up, his name is Emmanuel. He is 6 years old in his story. He's 1977. He's from New York, New York. And he writes, "My stepfather used to refer to me as Marinconcito behind my mom's back. That's Spanish slang for little faggot. And at this age, I was probably just beginning to understand that this was not a good thing. My mom was responsible for dressing me up in these cutesy little outfits, and my teddy bear was my best friend, and I didn't go anywhere without him. I'm pretty sure everyone picked up on my effeminate ways, and sadly, the religious influence in machismo of my Latino culture made me out to be deserving of much abuse. Nonetheless, I grew up to become a successful writer and turned all that childhood adversity into fodder for art." You can relate to this. "I would encourage queer youth to embrace whatever creative talents they may have and express themselves through music, painting, literature, or whatever gets them through. Sometimes those of us who've been emotionally crippled are capable of creating great art and contributing to the inspiration of others. Even if you create it just for yourself, it's great for letting go of hurt and moving on in life." That's Emmanuel. Okay, this is good. This is Tommy. He's 7 years old. He grew up in San Dimas, California. This is from 1981. Here, I'm wearing my favorite shirt from the 2nd grade. I called it my Star Wars Lando Calrissian shirt because it was breezy. But the best part was that only the top had a real button and the rest were snaps. My best friend and I would play Dukes of Hazzard at recess. I always played Bo Duke, and he ripped my shirt open during the fight scenes. After that, he would kick my butt, and I would make him play Daisy Duke to nurse me back to health. Some new boys came up one day and said we couldn't play like that because Daisy was a girl. My friend decided we'd play with them, and one boy who didn't know how to properly rip open a snap-up shirt actually ripped my shirt. I had to sit through class for the rest of the day in that ripped shirt while other kids giggled and called me Daisy, despite the fact that I was clearly Bo Duke. When I told my mom how my shirt got ripped, she gave me one of those looks where I could sense that something had changed between us. Needless to say, she refused to buy me another snap-up shirt for school. But years later, my mom sent my first boyfriend and I matching snap-up shirts for Christmas. And I think my boyfriend ended up ripping that one too. We do have lesbians in the book. Lesbians in the house. This is Liz. She was 6 years old. She's grew up in Buffalo, New York. The story's from 1961. My mother had to bribe me to wear a dress, and I insisted on no puff sleeves or ruffles of any kind. I was obsessed with all things NASA and wanted to be an astronaut. I would lie upside down in our living room chairs and pretend I was orbiting planet Earth in my own rocket. When I developed a huge crush on my butch gym teacher, didn't we all? My mother told me that crushes on other girls were perfectly normal. I spent a lot of time being perfectly normal at summer camp with crushes on older campers and cute butch counselors. None of my crushes materialized into anything more than long, flowery letters professing undying friendship. I dated boys because that's just what you did back then. It wasn't until my senior year that I finally came to terms with my gayness, and I knew I wanted more from another woman than long, flowery letters. That's Liz. And our last entry, and in fact I'll tell you who this person is after. You might know him. His name is Noah, and he was 7 years old. This is from 1985. He grew up in Racine, Wisconsin. Oh, you think you know who it is? No, sorry. At age 5, I crept out to my front yard in just my Scooby-Doo underoos and did a dance for our insanely good-looking garbage man. I'm just going to show you. Can you see the photo? I probably should have showed you the photos, but they're so small. Anyway. When I came back inside, I proudly announced to my dad that the garbage man called me a queer. My father immediately jumped up, ready to confront the man who had spit such an offensive word at his little boy. Before my dad could turn the doorknob, I stopped him and explained that I didn't mind being a queer. Of course, I had no idea what queer meant in that context. I thought it merely meant that I was strange and unusual, something I thought I wanted to be back then. I soon learned that being a queer wasn't something you should wish for, after the taunting and tormenting I suffered at the hands of my classmates. I was pushed down a flight of stairs as a freshman in high school. Luckily, I had an amazing family to escape to after a day of terror in school. But I realized that not everyone is as fortunate as I was. Today, when I hear about kids coming out at the ages of 14 or 12 or 9, I'm shocked and amazed. I salute those kids, marvel at their bravery, wish them only good things, and hope that the trend continues until it's no longer a trend, and we finally realize that queer kids really are just born this way. I will just quickly say that we're going to be doing some book signings in LA. I have a Wednesday night, December 5th at Book Soup in West Hollywood. And do you guys watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yeah!
Do you know makeup artist Billy B?
Yeah!
Billy B is in the book. And Billy B is going to join me. Oh, Noah writes Huffington Post Gay Voices. You guys read Huffington Post? He's the editor of Gay Voices. Meant to tell you that. And then the other book signing, we like to do big bookstores, and we like to support our indie bookstores. In fact, my friend Hank Henderson is right here in the audience. He does a monthly event at Stories Bookstore in Echo Park. It's called Homocentric, and we're going to be there on Sunday, December 16th. And I'll be there with a bunch of other people. So if you guys can come out and support, that would be really great. The book is available everywhere. It's at Urban Outfitters. It's on Amazon. It's online. And get some for your friends. It's really, really touching, beautiful, funny, silly, heartwarming stories in the book. And I can only credit the people that wrote them for me. So that's it. Thank you.